this is the course sandbox, and I'm going to show this to you live in a minute. The course sandbox is at the top of the course's homepage. It's going to give you a nice scoreboard about your completion status, your success status, your score and time, the big four, if you will. Down in the debug section, you've got a nice bit of, or basically a section that will list out every session that you've taken the training in. So you can go through, click on the session where you've completed the training, for example, and then you get something that looks like this. Now, normally there's a bunch of different colors, and you're going to see that here in a moment, but sticking to theme, we wanted to keep things a little drab, maybe a little scary, but this is what you'd end up seeing. Now, this is the bit that can be scary, but once again, we look at debug logs every day of our lives here, and I would like to say that with all of the experience we've had, nothing's going to be, we've probably seen it all. Now I'm probably need to knock on wood because I probably will see something different today. But now let's look at a sample launch and the debug logs that come up. Now I have chosen to skip over the sample launch, and we're going to go straight to the debug log. How about that? I was just determined to make things a little bit easier. Now, when you launch a piece of content in SCORM Cloud, you would do so. We're going to do this here by clicking this green launch button. And as you can see, I've already pre-done that just to kind of get around, any sort of problem that may come up, anything scary. And so I've completed it. I've gotten an 87. We'll just kind of set up the scenario where you've imported your content, you've taken it. Now, what do we do next? You can pop into this debug log, and there's a whole mess of color in here, but really the things that I would want you to check out is the blue part. The blue part is all of the glorious SCORM runtime data. So you see things like the initialize, which is the initialize call is the handshake at the beginning of the SCORM conversation, if you will. It's going to do a series of get values where the course is asking the LMS, in this case, SCORM Cloud, for information. It's then going to set some information as well. But one of the best things your piece of content can do is on launch, got to initialize because them's the rules. And then it should set itself incomplete. And the reason why we want you to do that is in the SCORM spec, there's some kind of gray area where if a course does not set it's a status at all and it hasn't been set yet, then there is an area in the spec that says, well, we're going to look at that as a non-communicative course, and what we'll do is just mark you complete. And chances are you don't want that. So setting the course incomplete is going to tell the LMS, hey, I'm going to be setting all the statuses, you're fine. Some other things of interest, location. Always set a location or a bookmark. If you've got a really long course and you're not bookmarking, and let's say somebody went, I don't know, 20 hours into a 24-hour training and bookmarking didn't happen, that is going to be a scary conversation to have with a learner when you say, well, that's great, but you might have to start over. So bookmarking, always a great idea. We can kind of scroll through this and some other items of note, and it's really towards the bottom. Here we go. This particular course is going to set a status right before it just kind of dumps all of the interaction data or the question and answer text. So we can see right here that I've completed this course, which is great. We can see that I've got a progress measure of 1. We will talk about that later. And then I've got a whole bunch of interaction data. Interaction data is another thing I'm going to talk about, but that is SCORMy for question and answer text. And it is one of the best things you can use in your courses to measure how your learners are doing with your content. So you not only get that score at the end, but you could also say, everybody missed question 1. I wonder why that is, that sort of thing. And then the other thing we'll look for towards the bottom here is this little guy called terminate. Terminate is well, it's the initialize is the beginning of the handshake. The terminate is when we decide we're not going to communicate anymore. Well, that sounded kind of harsh, but we're done. We're done with this SCORM session, and we're going to hand things back, and we're all done. No SCORM calls can happen after terminate. If you do that, then you're going to get a nice little error that says you've already called terminate. This stuff kind of looks scary, but it's not that scary once you know each of the elements, and also know that you can message us at support@rustysoftware.com, and we'll help you out.